Hey guys, how's it going out there? Hope you guys are doing
Out on
well.
Riverside
So
at
today
night.
I'm going to be talking about some Naruto, actually, specifically Naruto himself, because I think it's fair to say when it comes to the Boruto series that Naruto pretty much is going to be gone for the rest of the series. I know he's in that like dimension that Kawaki put him in, but I mean, I think it's fair to say that he's probably not going to be showing up or doing anything until like the very end of Boruto or until the end, like post credit of Boruto. But I was kind of thinking about this, seeing how we've pretty much seen the end of Naruto. Like we're probably not going to see another fight with Naruto. I doubt he's going to get another power up. And I know there's people out there who think that at some point that Naruto is going to come back and Sasuke's going to come back and they're going to have these really godly power ups and they're going to have all these new abilities. And honestly, I don't see it. I think that Sasuke and Naruto are permanently removed from the story. I don't think they're going to have any relevancy. I don't think they're going to have any power ups. I think at best they'll just probably die at the end of Boruto, or they'll just die at some point near the end. But I don't see Naruto or Sasuke having any type of relevancy going forward. I think their time has definitely come and gone. But I was thinking about Naruto's final big fight, which was against Ishiki. And looking back on that fight, that's when the first and last time we saw Baryon mode, which is supposed to be Naruto's strongest form. And I have to say that Baryon mode was just an astounding disappointment. And not to kind of go off from the topic of Naruto and Barry mode, but I mean, Ishiki as Naruto's final boss or final villain is also just a fucking joke. I mean, I know that Ishiki is supposed to be one of, if not the strongest villains in Naruto and the entire Naruto series, but I just, he's just not, it's just not there for me. I mean, what he has three abilities. He makes fucking Rubik's cubes and has chakra rods, and then all he does is kicks and punches. And he's like immune to like all genjutsu and taijutsu and pretty much everything that ninja use. He's like a walking cheat code, pretty much. He's like an OC from like a 2010s role playing forum, pretty much. He has no unique abilities really. As far as a character, nothing really there. I mean, is there anything memorable about Ishiki compared to like Madara, the Akatsuki, Itachi, Nagato, Orochimaru, Part 1 Gara? Not really. He was just kind of there. And I mean, all you can really say is that he just beat up Naruto and Sasuke, but I mean, at the same time, is that really a feat? I mean, considering Naruto and Sasuke were just glorified jobbers by the end of their tenure in Boruto, like all they were there for was just to set up how strong the next big villain was. So that's not really much, considering that Naruto and Sasuke weren't really impressive since like the Momoshiki fight. Like, I mean, that was like the last time I think Naruto and Sasuke were actually impressive and actually had a competitive, good fight. And I will say that the Naruto and Sasuke versus Momoshiki fight, that is to this day probably one of the best fights in the entirety of the Naruto series. And that's what Ishiki versus Naruto should have been on like a 10 times grander scale, but it just wasn't. And, going back to Naruto, in Bearing mode, I just, I just was really underwhelmed at the time when Baryon was introduced because I was kind of excited because I mean Ishiki for me was just never a good villain. I mean, as far as the writing for him wasn't really there. Didn't really care for the character design. Well, I'll take that back actually. I think his design looks good. I just think as far as a character, he had nothing going for him. I mean, but the design actually was actually pretty decent. I think he looked pretty cool. I like the cloak and I like the alien design, that kind of humanoid alien design he had going on. But that was it. Like, I feel like Ishiki should have been like a multi-year villain. I think there should have been like several years of Ishiki, kind of like Madara and Akatsuki, where we had years and years of like having him as a villain in the series that was on and off, and we actually had time to develop him, learn more about him, and also he could have a lot more memorable scenes and memorable actual fights. Like, I mean, you look at Madara, he had the five Kage, He had the fight versus Team Seven. He had the famous fight against Eight Gates Mike Guy. He had to fight against the Tailed Beast. Like there are several memorable battles and fights with Madara as the villain. And there's just really nothing with Ishiki. I mean, he just one shot all the Leaf Ninja like Kiba and them, but I mean they're all just fodder. Like I mean they haven't been relevant since fucking part one Naruto. And outside of that, I mean he just kind of one shot was it the fucking Jiraiya clone. And then he fought Naruto and Sasuke and just beat the fuck out of them twice until Naruto activated Baryon mode. But back to Baryon mode, because I'm getting off topic from that. Baryon mode I was excited for until we saw it in action, and it was just very underwhelming. I mean, this is Naruto's final form. This is supposed to be his strongest, most powerful form, and it was just kind of forgettable. I mean, the design in the manga looked pretty cool. I didn't really care for the anime adaptation of it, but it had a kind of cool design. But that's about it. I mean, the abilities, it like takes away the life force of the opponents. And, and this form to this day is hyped up as like one of the most powerful forms in Naruto. It's one of the strongest forms that could one shot almost any character. And it's just like I guess that is true, but at the same time, like the show don't tell dynamic is where it's at for me. People like to reference, well, it was able to beat up Ishiki, but it's like, well, for me, Ishiki's just kind of a there. Like to me, Ishiki didn't really have the actual feats of a final villain to make it impressive. And what I mean by that is when you compare Ishiki to Kaguya, Kaguya had the actual feats to be an end game boss. Now, regardless of how the writing for her was, how she was introduced was, that's a whole other thing. But when you look at her abilities, she felt like an in game boss. She had multi teleportation through dimensions. She had like pretty much like planetary like attacks. She had True Seeking Orb. She had the Ash Bone. She had a lot of different unique cool abilities that you could look at and tell that she was definitely a powerful final boss level. And you look at Ishiki, and I mean, this is a guy who makes fucking Rubik's Cubes and black chakra rods, which we've seen from a dozen different characters at this point. And that's it. Like that's all he does. He kicks and punches, and he's like immune to pretty much most attacks that ninja use. So he's like again, like I said before, like a walking cheat code. So like the fact that people use that as like, well, look at how strong he was. Look at how strong Barrymore was against Ishiki. I'm like, yeah, but for me, Ishiki wasn't that impressive. And also going back to the abilities of Baryon mode, there really wasn't much. Like again, kind of like Ishiki, all Baryon mode had was just kicks and punches and a Rasengan. And the thing about Baryon mode that is just absolutely fucking insane is that it's hyped up as one of the most powerful forms in Naruto. And yet it failed at its job. And not only did it fail at its job, but it failed against an opponent it was tailor made for. The entire point of Baryon mode was to be able to shred away the life force of opponents. And Ishiki, when Naruto and Sasuke fought him, was like had like a I think he had like a few weeks or something like that left. And by the time Baryon mode got done fighting him, he still was alive. Like he still had life force. The only reason that Ishiki actually died and what lost was because of Kawaki. Naruto did not beat Ishiki. He ran out of the form and proceeded to get the fuck beat out of him by Ishiki until Kawaki intercepted and was able to buy enough time for him to die. So if it hadn't been for Kawaki, Baryon mode would have failed. Naruto would have got the fuck beat out of him and killed. It'd have been game over. So this like hyped up form that's supposed to be able to, beat pretty much any character, couldn't even beat the character it was tailor made for. But on top of that, like just the from a skill set ability, like you look at when Naruto got Sage Mode, like he had a few different new abilities. He was able to use the Rasen Shuriken a few more times, and then you see he was able to do summoning of the frogs. And you look at the War Arc when he got like most of his power ups. When he got the Karama cloak, he got the Biju bombs, he got the KCM forms. Like it felt like an actual power up. It felt like he actually had an upgrade in abilities, and he had like a variety of different abilities. I mean, Granted, a lot of them were just fucking Rasenguns, like different types of elemental Rasenguns and giant Rasenguns and Beeger Rasenguns, but they were different unique abilities. And you look at Baryon mode, and it's just nothing. Like he had, like it would have been cool if he had like a nuclear or an atomic Rasengan that could like get to the size of like a fucking mini village, or he had like truth seeking orbs that were like atomic chakra energy that were like in different dimensions, like a limbo clone, or he was able to make like multiple clones that were like atomic clones that were his that had his amount of chakra, so it was like pretty much multiple of him. Or he had like an atomic kaiju form, like a Godzilla nuclear form, something like that. But he had nothing. He just had a new look, a new look to him, and he just did some punches and some kicks, and that's it. And I'm like, man, for this to be Naruto's final form, especially after we've seen all of his other forms, from the KCM forms to the Sage mode to all the other different forms he had, throughout his tenure in Naruto, it was just disappointing. Like I really felt like for this to be Naruto's final fight, it just felt underwhelming. I mean, even from just a fight standpoint. Like, I mean, you look at the fight between Ishiki, I don't think it's even up there with Part 1 Naruto versus Gaara, or Naruto versus Sasuke at any point, or Naruto versus Pain, or Team 7 with Naruto versus Kaguya, or Naruto versus Obito, or pretty much Naruto versus any of his opponents he's had. Like, I don't think Ishiki ranks in even like the top 5 to 10 of it. Like, the fight was memorable just because it had a new form in Naruto God, but that's about it. Like, I mean, to this day, people still talk about the Pain versus Naruto fight. Like, that's been over 10 years ago. Nowadays, even though the Ishiki fight was only a few years ago, people really don't even talk about it. It's just kind of there. People talk about Baryon mode, but that's about it, not because of the fight. And so that's the other thing is like the fact that this was Naruto's final fight was against Ishiki, a villain that was, in my opinion, very underdeveloped, just there for a cup of coffee, wasn't there for that long, and really didn't have a real like engaging fight. Like to me, that's what this should have been. It should have been like a Jiren versus Goku with Ultra Instinct fight, or like a Gear 5 versus Kaido type fight. And it just wasn't that. Like it was a few minutes of punches and kicks, and then it ran out. Karama, quote unquote, died. Which I mean, I didn't believe at the time that the Nine Tails died. I did not. I didn't buy that. And why anybody actually thought that Karama was actually dead, I have no idea. That's besides me. And then that's another thing is like the drawback to this is fucked. Like assuming that Naruto like uses against anybody, I mean, even without Ishiki, the drawbacks are fucked. Like, after you use this form, Naruto loses his primary power force. Like, his primary power from the Nine Tails is permanently removed from him. So it's also fucked because, like, even if you survive, you're just permanently nerfed a very drastic amount from your original power. So, like, now you are severely weakened permanently, and that's it. Like, this is a horrible drawback. Like I'd say it's almost probably worse than the Eight Gates. I mean, well, with the Eight Gates, you actually die. So I guess, yeah, I mean, I guess the Baron mode's not that bad compared to the Eight Gates, but still, like the drawback is you lose your main power, and you're just severely nerfed. And also, it's pretty much a form that is very limited in what it could do. Because what I mean by that is like if Naruto is fighting somebody that he either can't catch up with, or someone like, let's say, Obito with like Kamui, uh, this form is kind of fucked because like it does not have that long. Like the fact that it couldn't kill Ishiki, who had a few days left of his life, and it couldn't even take him out. Like if it's not able to take him out, I don't see how it could take out a lot of other characters that have like years to decades or even fucking centuries. Like this form would be useless against Kaguya. Like, I mean, granted, she's immortal, so I mean, that's kind of a weird situation. Like, how does that work when you have a form that takes away the life force of a opponent against an opponent that's immortal? So that's a weird kind of paradox there. But still, like, and also the form. I guess the form is fast. Like, I mean, he is able to move kind of quick. But that's the other thing. Is like, if he Naruto's fighting someone who's able to like either keep distance or able to like kind of outmaneuver Naruto for just a few minutes, he's kind of fucked. Because the other thing is, after Baryon mode runs out, Naruto's just he's done. Like if Naruto cannot beat whoever he's fighting in this form, he's done because he cannot keep fighting after this because he loses the Nine Tails. So pretty much the main power set that he has is gone. He's severely weakened. He is pretty much in a state where he can't do anything, so he can just proceed to be killed or have the fuck be of him, as was shown against the Ishiki fight. And so yeah, like the everything about this form was just very underwhelming. I mean, the abilities were just not there. The use of it wasn't there. Techniques weren't there. Ishiki as a final villain wasn't there. Nothing about this fight felt like a final fight for Naruto. Like, I mean, really thinking about it, I mean, looking back on Shippuden and Boruto with Ishiki, I feel like at this point Naruto should have fought Kaguya as the final villain in Boruto. Like, I feel like what should have happened is that Madara should have stayed the final villain for Naruto, and then for Boruto, you build up to Kaguya post Madara and Shippuden, and you build up to Kaguya, and then you have Kaguya as the final villain, and you have Baryon Mode Naruto versus Kaguya, and then you give Baryon Mode a whole lot more powerful abilities to fight Kaguya, and you have this grand, almost like dimensional scale battle against Naruto versus Kaguya. Kurama, quote unquote, dies. In my opinion, I think it'd be cool if Naruto died because I think it'd be kind of like a passing the torch where Naruto protected the world, became Hokage, and gave his life to protect the world again. To me, I think that would be fitting. And I think that would have been a far better ending than having Ishiki, a very forgettable one note villain, be the final villain, and then have Baryon Mode, a form that was pretty underperforming as a form. I mean, especially when you consider what we've seen from Naruto before. Like, I mean, compare the abilities that Baryon Mode showed compared to the War Arc Naruto. I mean, the War Arc Naruto showed several different abilities. I mean, he had the true seeking orbs. He had the different shadow clones. He had multi elemental or Sengans. He had the Kurama cloak. He had a lot of different abilities that actually felt like power ups. And in this form, it just kind of was like, well, he has a new look, but that's about it. Nothing else really. And so yeah, that was just my little rant about Baryon Mode and Naruto because I kind of was looking into Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, and I don't really follow the manga, but I was just kind of looking at it a little bit, just kind of skimming over it, and I was like, man, the fact that Naruto probably is not going to be seen in the Boruto series until years from now, like, because I think Boruto's it's a monthly manga, and from what I can tell, it's been stuck on the same event for quite some time, so it's going to be a few years, possibly a decade, before we see Naruto doing anything. He's probably going to be in that dimension of Hinata for a long time. And even when and if he gets out, he's probably going to do nothing after that. Because, I mean, again, he has no Nine Tails. And all the new villains are leagues above him in power. So he can't really do anything against the new villains. So he's just kind of going to be there when and if he gets out. And considering that his final big fight was against Ishiki, and also his final form was just very underwhelming. It's just disappointing that the main character of the Naruto series went out with just a very underwhelming bang, pretty much. Or I guess, I mean, it was a big deal. I mean, I remember even like major news networks were like talking about the Nine Tails dying and the fights. I mean, it was a big deal, but as far as the fight itself, it was just very forgettable, honestly. I mean, Barrymo's really a forgettable form. Ishiki's a forgettable villain. The whole thing is just kind of there, and which is unfortunate, especially for being the main character of the entire franchise and being one of the most iconic anime characters. For him just to go out like that is just it's sad, actually, a little bit. It's a little bit sad. But yeah, that's enough of me kind of going on about Naruto. But till next time, I'll see you guys later and take it easy until then.